guys. Today I'm reacting to two true babysitting horror stories. This is by IMR Scary Tales. I hide you have my window open, like the curtain open and the windows open, just because it's a lot nicer today. So if it gets too loud, then I'll just close it. But if you hear any talking or yapping, that's what that is. But hopefully you don't hear much of that because I like having the window open. I hear a little bit, but not really much. This one's 11 minutes long, so true babysitting horror stories. I can't really imagine myself a babysitter. If I was a babysitter, I feel like I wouldn't do anything. Like when I watch my brother, I just kind of like sit on the computer. Like obviously I don't get paid for it. If I do, then I actually do stuff because like I don't want to get paid for doing nothing, right? So, but anyway, let's see what happens in these stories. Let's go.
This all happened back when I was about 10 or 11, as it was the
He's not 10 or 11. He's like 25
for me, and I remember being really excited about going to big school, as my mom and dad phrased it. They were off to some work function, and I needed a babysitter. I distinctly remember them being worried that they wouldn't be able to go, as I think they left it quite late and were worried that they wouldn't be able to find a sitter. I didn't want to be left alone with a stranger, so I remember being absolutely gutted when they said they'd managed to find someone to stay for a few hours on a Saturday evening. But when the time came and the babysitter arrived, I remember thinking that it wouldn't be so bad. She was very pretty and seemed genuinely lovely. Some university student called Sarah, I can't quite remember, but she pretty much won my parents over in the first few minutes, and well, since they liked her so much, I kind of liked her too. She told me we'd have a little slumber party, that we could watch my favorite film, and my parents sweetened the deal by saying that they'd leave us money for some pizza. So I really did perk up for a bit as they showed the girl around the house and actually warmed up to the idea as they left the house. Sarah, who we'll just call her now for the story's sake, she began to order us pizza. Only, that's when things started to get a bit weird. She asked me what my favorite topping was, in a voice that didn't sound nearly as jolly as before. When I told her I liked pepperoni the most, still my favorite, she just laughed and told me she was a vegetarian. I tried to tell her we could always get 2 smaller pizzas, but she just ignored me as she placed an order for a large spicy veggie one. I hated spice, and I still do. I can't handle chilies for the life of me, even as a grown-up, so the younger me was absolutely heartbroken that I'd been pretty much shut out of the pizza party that we were supposed to be throwing. And it all went downhill from there. There was a knock at the door a little while after she called, and I suspected it was the delivery guy, but it wasn't. From the top of the stairs, I watched as some lad in his own clothes stepped out of the cold and into our hallway. I was confused as to what was going on, where the pizza was and all that, but when the pair of them started sharing this really horrible wet kiss, I got onto the fact that it was obviously her boyfriend or something. And this is all after hearing my parents make it clear to her that she wasn't allowed any company around. So I was really bloody annoyed at this point, like furious. So I snuck down into the kitchen to try and find the house phone to call my mom. Only it wasn't in the charger. I trot around for a wee bit trying to find the thing when I realized there's a good chance the babysitter had it with her. I walked down the hall to the living room where she and her boyfriend were, opened the door, and pretty much recoil at what I see. They're doing stuff, right there on the couch. Sarah screams at me to get out and shuts the door, and I respond with asking her for the phone. She doesn't even acknowledge my request, gets up from the couch with fury in her eyes and slams the door on me before screaming through the wood to get back up to my room and be quiet. I told her I was hungry, but again, absolutely no acknowledgement. So I went back up to my room and just bawled my eyes out. So it's pretty important to remember that this was like the mid-90s, back when the internet or mobile phones weren't exactly available or affordable for a family like mine. If this had happened nowadays, it would be a piece of pie to just phone my parents or, hey, even take a photo of the boyfriend being there, and that would be that. But I just didn't have those options available to me, and even if I had, this girl was so conniving that she'd probably have found a way around it. But that sort of maltreatment wasn't what scared me. Yeah, it was upsetting, but another danger became more of a priority when I realized that they had trapped the family dog inside the living room with them. I I went back downstairs facing my fears and hoping I could at least get Jazz out of the room with them. She was an Australian Shepherd, one of those dogs that's dead shaggy but also looks like someone spilled a can of paint over them or something. I loved her so much and I had to rescue her. So I knock on the living room door, only to get told to go away. I knock again, telling the babysitter that it was important that Jazz had to go outside to have a wee or for her to be taken on a walk so she could do it number 2. Again, she barked at me to go away. I wasn't about to let this happen to my best friend in the world though, so I pushed the door open just in time to see the boyfriend do something frankly unbelievable. So in England, we play cricket, don't we? And the balls are insanely hard. Like, I think they might be even harder than baseballs you Americans play with. Solid cork on the inside with a tough leather binding. People actually died from getting hit on the head with cricket balls.
Oh shit.
Jazz loved her cricket ball. We tried throwing tennis balls and stuff for her, but I think she just liked that leather smell the cricket ball gave off. Maybe it reminded her of actually chasing an animal or something. I don't know. But either way, I opened the door of the living room to find the boyfriend of the sitter just lashing the cricket ball at Jazz.
Oh my god.
So hard that when it hit her back leg, she yelped, all high-pitched. I tried to run in to rescue her, to pull her into my room where she could be safe, but the boyfriend was fast. He pushed me back into the hallway, shut the door, and then I'm certain he wedged something against it, because I couldn't open it at all from then on.
Jesus.
I went up to my room and cried myself to sleep, only waking up to hear my parents talking to the sitter when they got home. I didn't make a sound. I was just too scared. For some reason, I had it in my head that the boyfriend would hurt them. I don't know. Kids are daft like that, I suppose, but of course, he wasn't there. He left before my mom and dad got home. I think the real nightmare was that the sitter had actually spun some pure sob story about how I'd been really bad and terribly behaved all evening, how I'd been a brat and demanded this, that, and the other, and they made a huge bloody mistake, the absolute wankers, because that cricket ball had left a huge welt on Jazz's hind leg, and when my dad found out that, I'd at least been partially telling the truth about what they'd been up to. And God, you should have seen how livid he was. I won't bore you with the petty details, but let's just say that sitter and her boyfriend ended up actually getting arrested on animal cruelty charges, and I know for a fact that he ended up getting convicted and fined for it.
Yes.
So, I suppose a silver lining to a truly terrible night, but be careful who you're hiring to sit your kids, people.
I'm so glad that they got like hot for it though. Scary babysitting experience.
Back when I was
What
17,
now?
I used to babysit for our neighbor, who at the time was a single mother who happened to be going through a particularly nasty divorce. She had 2 young sons, one of which was 8 years old, while the other was only around 18 months. They were absolutely adorable and very well-behaved kids, but you could tell that they were going through a lot. And the older one definitely showed signs of stress over the whole thing. And I'll never forget the time he asked me why his daddy couldn't live with them anymore, and it honestly broke my heart. Not because I didn't have an answer for him, but because to hear it would have just been too much to bear. Too much for anyone to bear. Anyway, after a few months of being alone, she finally decided to get back on the old dating horse. I was so happy for her. After such a rough time, she deserved to find happiness again, to find someone who had the wherewithal to be a real father to these 2 adorable little boys. So one night she leaves on her date and says she'll be back around midnight and not a moment later. Only she doesn't tell me exactly where she's going, and I have no way to contact her because this was back in the 80s and no one had a cell phone. Well, they did exist, but not in the available commercial sense. It was all landlines back then. Otherwise, this might not have gone the way it did. So on the night in question, I'm chilling on the couch, absent-mindedly flicking through the TV channels. I put the kids to bed an hour previous. They're sleeping like rocks, and everything seems fine and dandy. When suddenly there's a knock at the front door. I wasn't expecting anyone, but then again, it wasn't my house, so I felt kind of obligated to answer and take a message or whatever. Only as I started walking down the hallway towards the front door, whoever is on the other side starts banging against it and cursing up a storm. "Cheryl, I know you're in there. Open the door.
Uh-oh, it's the husband.
Now, what was exactly
Or the
said,
ex.
I don't remember, but I'm not keen on repeating some of the words they used. It was really, really harsh. So I'm just frozen, looking at the door in total fright when the oldest boy came flying out of his room and down the stairs, running to the door and yelling, "Daddy's home!" I grab him, pull him away from the door. I had no idea what this guy's intentions were, and after all, they were probably divorced for a freaking reason. But I almost fainted with fear when I hear the words, "I got my shotgun in my truck, and tonight, I'm gonna teach you a lesson you'll never forget."
Oh my god.
He screams this, but then I hear his footsteps move up the gravel path.
Uh-oh.
It appeared he wasn't bluffing at all.
He's going.
And if that was the case, then our lives were clearly in danger. When he gets back, he's banging on the door and threatening to start shooting through it if no one opens. I grab both kids and run out the back door and across the street to my house where my mom calls the police. When the police arrive a few minutes later, they actually find the ex-husband taking a massive dump on Cheryl's porch.
Oh, come on.
He was arrested, and I wait with the kids at my house for their mom to show up. Everyone was in tears by that point, even my mom, who was normally a pretty reserved woman. I mean, maybe he was just having a manic episode and no one was in real danger, but honestly, it was one of the most terrifying nights of my entire life.
Those stories were just awful. Like, not awful in the sense of, like, oh my god, terrible, you know, but, like, I mean, like, terrible. Like, what the hell, man? Like, that's ridiculous. Still recording, right? Thank goodness. Okay. Like, the first one, don't even get me started. Like, you're fucking your boyfriend on my couch, and you're telling me to go upstairs and shut the door. You're supposed to be watching me and taking care of my bitch ass, and you're fucking your boyfriend? Pardon me, sir? Yeah, I call everybody sir, don't mind me. Girl, guy, I don't care, I call you sir. I just don't understand, like, how people are so, like, how do you do that? Like, you're just so fake to the parents to, like, win them over, and then I'm so glad they got, like, caught in the end, though. Fuck yes, I fucking love that. Like, if they got away with it, I'd be pissed. Like, I was already pissed that shit happened, but the fact that they got caught, at least, that makes me really happy, so that's really good. But, oh my goodness, that's ridiculous. Cannot believe those idiots, those assholes. That makes me mad. Like, poor animal gets harmed too, and he didn't even do anything. Like, you know what I mean? Just, like, I don't get how people could be so cruel to other people, animals, anything. Like, how are people such assholes? I really don't understand it, and I never really will. But I'm just really glad that... And the freaking second story, too. Oh my god. Like that wasn't even you. Like, you're just a babysitter. You're out on a date. And then you don't know, you don't expect that to happen, you know what I mean? And then it's like just some, like, can you imagine me babysitting at someone's house and then the boyfriend or girlfriend is like, yeah, I'm gonna kill you bitches, like, what the fuck, who the hell even are you know, like, that's terrifying. But I'm glad everybody was basically unharmed except for the dog, but again, the dog's okay. And everyone got, well, what they deserved, arrested, charged, so that's obviously really good. Because I really hate it when people don't get caught for their shit, especially when I hear in a story and then they don't get caught, I get so pissed. So I'm really glad that they're all okay and everything, and the guys got caught. Very good. That's going to be it for this video though. If you guys did enjoy it, be sure to subscribe if you are new, be sure to like this video, and be sure to comment down below any suggestions you may have. And be sure to turn on post notifications as well, so you never miss any videos that I do upload. And then until next time, we'll see you guys.